IVM.
TFG Football is an IVM production, and you can also check out their other awesome shows like Simplified, a show that explains intense topic from around the world and simplifies it for you so that you can appear cooler in front of your friends.
You're listening to TFG Football.
Hello everyone, this is a new episode for the TFG Indian Football Podcast. I'm your host Siju, and joining me in the studio is Kevin. Now Chiranjeev is not joining us, he's on the train and he's unable to join us because network issues, but don't worry, he's got us covered. He's given us the pointers that we need to talk about, so we shall talk about all of that. A sad news that happened yesterday, and I'm sure not just the political parties who are grieving over this, it's also the Indian football world. That's the Indian football team and people who support and people who work in the administration are also mourning this loss. He was a veteran leader, a former Congress leader also, but also a former ex-AIFF president. Priyaranjan Dasmunshi is no longer with us. He passed away yesterday at the age of 72, and it's a very sad way to go, because every death is eventually a sad thing, because you're losing someone from this world. But this is like, he was in coma since 2008 after he got a stroke. He was almost paralyzed as well. That's really, imagine being in a vegetative state, like we say, since 2008, and finally probably he breathed his last yesterday. And he's been a great instrumental in Indian football, to say. The guy who got the National League to India, who gifted us the whole league that we have right now, or the structure or the system, whatever we talk about. He also introduced he also implemented the club licensing in I-League. He was also the first Indian FIFA World Cup match commissioner, and he wanted to promote football in Northeast so much that back in 91 he had a high-level meeting in Mizoram. And now, whatever we talk about, whatever the fruits that we are earning, is also his hard work, his implementation, his thoughts that has gone through. So TFG from us, from the team, all of us at TFG, prayers and wishes to his family and deep condolences. But Kevin, losing a guy like this is really, he's done so much for Indian football. Look at now, though there are flaws everywhere, but we have a league. And there's a structure, and the clubs are serious about what they're doing. So this guy really laid out, you can say, a foundation, right?
Yeah, definitely. What he has contributed to Indian football may not be known by this generation, or at least many of us, because when he was very young, that's when he rose to prominence early in his life. He was part of the student movement that got about a lot of changes, and slowly he worked his way up the ladder, and he did get into the system, the political system, and he had a lot of followers, especially from the way he grew up. Student unions and student political parties really admire him. So he was part of Congress. Yes, he was very instrumental in getting Congress back to power at that moment. And we now do, after reading about him, we know that 20 years in the AIFF, he's done wonders. Now, what we seen before I-League was the NFL, the National Football League, was started by him. His idea it was, his brainchild, and not just getting in league, that at the national level was his contribution. He got the structure in place, as you said. Got the national club licensing, which we seen is ongoing right now. And starting off things is difficult, and maintaining obviously is more difficult. But then who gives it that jump start? It's that core group, or that that committee that was there at that time for 20 years in power in the AIFF regime. He's done some things that we've seen can be very useful going forward. But sadly, almost for 20 years being in service, and then after 2008 he was in a state that he could not do much, and it was just almost so. It's sad for us that not many of us still know. And did we even see anything from official tweets?
Yeah, the likes of Baichung and the guys who started off probably even back then have put out their wishes and prayers. I'm sure. It's really a big loss, because just like you pointed out, exactly all the points, and hope we have guys like him in the future. We need somebody like him.
You're talking about the future. 2008 is when the great inventor of the starter, the originator of the NFL went into a coma, and Praful Patel comes in his place, and he's been there since such a long time, and we've seen, okay, he's done some good, but it's a legacy that he's carrying forward. But Priyaranjan is the one who has started it all so many years back, and it could have been much different had it started and maintained into that, but NFL, I-League, and then now we see ISL, again back to ISL. So it's a long journey for Indian football, but I think it's for the best.
The start was good. That's why we are where we are. I mean, no matter how many flaws we can take, we've hosted the World Cup. But our teams are doing well. The senior national team is looking pretty decent. May not be explosive to compete in the bigger stages, but at the Asian level maybe. But yeah, that was a good foundation laid. So that's what we needed. That what we do after that is what we have to look at right now. But this man clearly laid a great base from where we could grow and from where we could see more action. And I'm sure his life would be celebrated more than mourning for his death. I'm sure that would be a better way to put out there. And just like once again wishes, hope Priyaranjan Dasmunshi sir's soul rests in power and peace, we would like to say. And with that, as they all say, no matter what happens, the show must go on. So we carry on with our daily business of Indian football. And imagine if he wouldn't have started this, we wouldn't have had this show also, right? It all comes down to a circle. A great thank you to him as well. Now moving on with some news, like I said, we shall continue talking about I-League and ISL teams. Now there's a 2-day break for ISL. So today we shall look at the I-League team, just like we promised. We told you that there were 3 teams pending, and we will definitely come back when we get more information on that. And we've got information on the new team, Gokulam FC, who will be playing out from Kozhikode.
Is it Gokulam or is it
Gokulam Kerala FC? Yeah,
or is it Malabar FC?
No, it is proper. It's now unveiled. It's confirmed. It's official. They had a team launch on unveiling of the team on the 19th of November in Kozhikode. So it's called Gokulam Kerala FC, and it's official. They have players, local flavor is what they have. Even their coach is from Kerala itself and knows the conditions, knows how it is. But how will this team, if you go to squad, it's a balanced squad, like the local flavor. The foreign signings have experience. They've played for the respective national teams. The one name strikes out, of course, Kamo in there. But how does this team form, and will this team be a legit threat or a challenge for other teams is what we'll have to wait and watch. But we'll slip into a short break because it is not there. It's like one person less on the show and less talking. So things get faster here. We shall talk about this team in detail, talk about the squad and everything on the other side of the break. We shall be back soon.
Hello, I'm Sanjeev.
And I'm Tushar.
And this is the Rotomout Podcast, a weekly show where we talk about motors and motoring in India. Cars, bikes, rickshaws, buses, friends, familiars and time pass.
Find us every week on the IVM Podcast app or any other app you might use. Stuck in traffic? Put on Rotomouth. Taking a while in the loo? Rotomouth is there for you.
Dude, that sounded particularly disgusting.
Thank you. But seriously, catch Rotomouth every week.
And we're back again looking at this team from Kerala, and it's not Kerala Blasters, but it is Gokulam Kerala FC. Kevin?
Just to bring the viewers' attention, Gokulam Kerala FC is not the first I-League team from Kerala. No. And NFL has seen so many come, and there was Viva Kerala, there was Chirag, and this was a powerhouse and in those days, and then sadly we've not seen any teams from at least a decade now. So that's just really sad to see that legacy what Priyaranjan started could have been much better if there was a little more structure, a little more support from the top management. We could have seen clubs, the number of clubs increase. We could have seen a higher number of teams in a division go up from single digit to double digit, but sadly clubs couldn't sustain themselves because there was some structural problem which was started well but couldn't be maintained.
Well, there were many teams that had to shut shop. Many teams.
Are we in Mumbai?
Not just from
Yeah. Okay, no, we're not saying anything.
Well, that is completely shut shop. But I was talking about legit clubs who had some, but had to shut shop for different reasons. But they are still playing in the lower divisions. Now let's come back to Gokulam Kerala FC. Kevin, when you look at it, just like I said before we slip into a short break, then one name that strikes out because he's known in the Indian football is Bhai Kamo. But they do have a strike of the local flavor to pull out crowd, because most of the Kerala players who are from Kerala have played for Santosh Trophy, and we know how, like, for Kerala how big Santosh Trophy is, so in the past as well we've seen players coming out from there. But how does this team, like I struck a question before we slip into a short break, like, does this team look like that strong contender, or not, if not a contender, but a challenge for the other teams?
I-League has been a tournament where even the smallest team with a small budget can do wonders, and Aizawl FC has already shown us that.
Right.
So just going by the names and their reputation really will not give us an understanding whether this team is going to go all guns blazing, or it is just going to be just going down the barrel easily. So it's, looking at the squad, it gives you a feeling that they've gone in for players who've got experience playing at a national level, so that itself is good enough. It's not somebody who's played in local leagues. It's more at Santosh Trophy is huge. We've seen best of players coming out from the Santosh Trophy and being absorbed into teams like various clubs and even ISL teams. So definitely this team has got some experience, and they've got a player, Sushant Matthew. Now he's not somebody who people don't know him well. And he can strike. He can strike, and
he's played for the likes of East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, Rangdajil United. So he knows how is it to be in the top division.
Definitely, when you have some player like him in the forefront, you can expect a lot from him. And leadership qualities is what we're looking for in the newest team from Kerala.
But overall, what do you think? I mean, there are players like Nikhil Bernard and all. They are not known names. Like, haven't played much and to be a bigger name, because but they all have been, most of them have been part of like Bengaluru FC, part of DSK, Pune FC, all of these teams. They have, if you go to say, they have a good mix. There's foreign signings who most of them are dominated by African players. Then there are local flavor who come from Kerala itself, and some from the northeast as well. So they are trying to strike a good balance. But like we see, whether it's an Aizawl, whether there's East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, who look absolutely strong with the squad that they have. Then there is Neroka, because this team has competition. But coming back to the same question, can this team be a competition to the others, is what
we'll have to see, because it's difficult to predict a team which hasn't played together. So this is assembly of players who've played in other clubs, and they're coming together. So obviously the experience will count, and how they gel together, how they click together, how the combination work is just how the season goes. We might not see it in the first 2 games, but it eventually it starts working just like magic.
Yeah, I mean, just their coach like Binod George has been making probably all the right noises, saying maybe we're a new team, but we definitely are a team to watch out for. So I think this I-League season is going to be, looks like much more interesting because of the likes of Neroka or Gokulam, or other new refined Aizawl FC, or the East Bengal that is borrowed from Aizawl FC, or a Mohun Bagan who's still kind of striking or getting to get the balance of if Dika can adjust with Surya Norde, like Chiranjit said. But yeah, I mean, it is interesting. Though these people try to kill the I-League, it always manages to strike, stand out.
That's there because you have a factory that produces players. You don't have a club that buys players like some teams we know. So there's one midfielder in this team. His name is Faisal. He comes from Afghanistan. Great potential. He's just 26 and he's got a little left foot. Just mind you, he can just change things in a jiffy over there in the midfield. He's just not played locally. He's played for the national team as well. He's played for the qualifiers, and obviously he was part of the team that in 2015 was beaten by Sunil Chetri's side in the AIFF Cup. So that's some interesting name to see.
Yeah.
Obviously, he will be assisted by Kamo up front. We've seen his potential. 21 years he was when Khalid Jamil got him to Aizawl FC, and you just see what he can do with that left foot and right foot of his. So that's some names that we know of, but there's a Syrian also in the forward. I'm not sure what position he plays. So a Middle Eastern.
Another Khalid.
There's a Middle Eastern and there's an African blend to this side.
Exactly.
So obviously physicality will be expected from this.
Yeah. All we have to wait and watch is, will they sustain 2 p.m. kickoffs in Kozhikode is what we'll have to wait and watch.
I think the home games will be easier for them.
Because the home game itself I'm talking about, it's going to be crazy. So 2 p.m. kickoffs in Calicut, you don't want to be there out in that heat. Because even there is no winter on that part of Kerala, but yeah, I don't know, man. I just hope that the crowd comes in. That because, like we say, Kerala Blasters getting all the crowd. It's not the Kochi crowd. It's not the crowd that comes in from the surrounding of the stadium. People travel from Trivandrum, from Malappuram, north of Kerala is where you get the whole Kannur and all of that. That's where we get all players from as well. The Thrissur and stuff like that. So it's like quite displaced. So hopefully people in Kozhikode and finally said, okay, this is the team and this is where we go. So they get the support, because when they had the event in Kochi about this team unveiling, that drew a lot of crowd in the mall that they had in Kozhikode. So I'm sure the team is hoping the same will. It'll be more when they actually play the match. And I think like we already mentioned about this, since they have that connect to the local players, the players being from Kerala, most of them. The leader itself is from there, and who's also kind of a big name in Indian football. It should draw people, and I hope they can sustain that 2 p.m. kickoffs. I just hope all these players who are part of their team, and we'll get you more updates and more information on this. So let's see if we can get in touch with any of them to talk as well. Well, that's all. This brings us to the end of the show. A sweet and simple show. It was kind of like this: one who laid a foundation passed away, but there's other something coming out from Kerala. So it's like he would be a happy man, okay, knowing the fact that Kerala teams are back again. It's not just one team doing the ISL, there's also another few other big teams. Maybe if it ends becoming to one league like ISL, let's hope that these teams can sustain. I mean, there are more teams from Kerala. We need more competition, and then we can actually call it a derby. Or calling an 80K and Kerala versus an El Clasico, please. Let's not talk about that, and let's end the show on a good note. And once again, our deeply condolences to Priyaranjan Dasmunshi sir's family. Hope you enjoyed the show. As we said, we'll keep getting you updates from Gokulam FC and other teams as well. That's all from us. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy watching Indian football and following it. If you did like this show, please do the honors, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon so don't miss out on any of the episodes. In case you missed out yesterday's show, we had a special interview episode as well with Alfred Jarian, who's a key player for Aizawl FC, so check that out as well. And leave your thoughts and comments below on our comment section on the YouTube. You can talk to us directly as well. Chiranjit is on a train, but I'm sure he can talk to you if he has good network. He's on Twitter, Chiranjit Oja, Boza_Kevin, SijMatthew94. These are our Twitter handles. Also for the TFG football Twitter handle for everything to know about Indian football. You can also read about all these stories. If you want to check the Gokulam FC squad, it's up on our website, thefangrass.com. Also, they had a big launch, so even that's there on our website, thefangrass.com. Have a great day, folks. Enjoy. Cheers. Bye-bye.
That was Tantrik Steve from Hansraj College, Delhi, performing at IIT Bombay's Mood Indigo. Just like them, there's a lot of new talent and art coming out of colleges all across India, but unfortunately most of this goes completely unnoticed or ignored. To fix this, we started ATKT.in. Hi, I'm Ankur, I'm a musician and a rapper, and I found that one of the best things about being an artist myself is finding new talent. Through ATKT.in, Tanya, my colleague who's a dancer, and our whole team really is putting all of our efforts into discovering and promoting all the coolest talent that's coming out of colleges all across India. And this goes up on our website, our social media, TV, radio, and now, of course, this podcast with IVM. Make sure you go to our website, support the talent with your likes, your shares, your comments. All of that really matters. Go ahead, check it out. atkt.in.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out
IVM Podcasts
to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.